Hey everyone, Stiboy here. In this video, I went back to playing Rust for my first time in over a year. Why you ask? Well, I don't even know myself. There's just something magical about those moments that this game gives you that I missed. But enough of me yapping. Let's begin this solo Rust adventure, shall we? I began this journey by crafting myself a bone club, as I wanted to speed up the process of getting my first stone tools. Thereafter I left the crime scene and headed inlands over to the snow where I had planned my base location, right in the middle of 4 monuments. And if I wanted to run red guard, then I had all the necessary monuments around my base to get the required cards. Alright, let's set a challenge. If this video hits 50 likes, I'll up the chaos in the next wipe. More fights and big raids. Let's see if you legends can pull it off. Friendly reminder, remember to stay hydrated, guys. As I made my way inland, I grabbed every resource in sight, hoping this would be the run where I'd finally place my starter base before meeting the same early game fate as always. I don't recommend running around with a lit torch at night, especially not 1 hour into wipe as you're making yourself a target. But this time I felt brave, and it also revealed a lot of nodes and wood piles for me. To save myself from having to do this all over again, I decided to make myself a small 2x1 starter base. I'm afraid you will have to excuse me for my slow building, but eventually I will get there. After an hour and a half of building, I went to gather the nearby resources and found some barrels to get enough scrap for the level 1 workbench. Once this was done, I brought along me the necessary resources to build my main base further deep into the snow. then went for a quick farming run. Since I was living in the snow, finding cloth wouldn't be possible. Therefore, I took all of my rope and string that I collected and went to recycle at Sewer Branch for cloth. But this was easier said than done. So I spawned back in my starter base and went for a couple barrel runs instead to build up scrap and components in a much safer area, as I was coming to realize in the future. Once it was complete darkness outside, I took my chance to travel loot over to my new base. If I wanted peak efficiency as a solo, I knew I would need multiple furnaces. So once my HP was full, I went out on a hunt for some bears. But on my way home, I spotted my neighbors outside my base, so I had to turn around. But that was easier said than done, as there were players in every direction. I tried to run away, but being pushed up to the end of the map gave me no other options than to try and hide. But as you might have guessed, this didn't work very well.
Hi.
Playing solo against groups is no easy task. Defeat is inevitable at times, but every setback is just fuel for the comeback. No matter how many times I fall, I'll rise again, ready to push forward and claim my place. With a revolver added to my arsenal, I finally felt safer against the groups roaming the server. Now I just had to survive the trip home so I could research it. As my loot grew larger and larger for each run, there was only one solution for my storage problem. But in classic Rust fashion, when you're at your most vulnerable, that's when other players mess with you. Now I just have to break the wooden half wall so I can access my two new large boxes. Since my last attempt at gathering cloth went horrible, I thought I would use the advantage of the night to recycle string at the closest supermarket. But once again, my neighbor stood in the way of my return. If I wanted a safer base location, I had no choice but to move on. So when I found this rock formation, I knew I could cook. With my base finally complete, I realized this new location wasn't just safer, it was the perfect spot to bring the fight to them. Sadly, there was no more PvP this time. But trust me, the next wipe, I'm bringing the chaos. New strategies, more firepower, and way more action. Make sure you subscribe, because you won't want to miss what's coming. Stiboy, out.